Chris Waller joins us on Racenet TV. Chris, big day on Saturday. We'll kick off with the Metropolitan Handicap and maybe start with Stout Hearted.
Yeah, it's a nice race for Stout Hearted. It's been up a while, but all that's done is given him a good solid foundation, and it's helped us get him racing a little bit more tractably. And 2 starts ago he showed his class by winning a handy Group 3 race. Did everything right with a bit of pace on, and beat a pretty good field and run a good time as well. So he's on the perfect step 2 weeks into the Metrop. I don't think the distance will be any problem at all, but he does need to settle, and that's regardless of 2,400 mile, whatever distance he may be racing over.
What did you make of the run in the Kingston Town? Was it Kingston Town? Sorry, the last start?
That was the Hill Stakes. It was a nice run. They all went across the line together basically. And he was just getting, well, I think the week before he won it running 2 minutes, and that race was run at 2 minutes 06. So just a different type of race altogether, and drops to handicap, in which he's very well placed on Saturday.
Kalini, Chris?
It's most likely he'll run. I'm going to make a final decision on Saturday morning, but I weighed up all the options with him, and I'd like to get him to the Melbourne Cup. But firstly, he's got to qualify for the Melbourne Cup. Secondly, and that probably comes with part one, you've got to be good enough. So what's the use of trekking all the way to Melbourne, finding a suitable lead-up race and qualifying race for the Melbourne Cup, coming up against probably 20 horses, a few imports, a lot of strong horses in Melbourne heading in the same direction, when we've got a Group 1 race in our backyard. And that's what we buy horses for, is to win the good races. And it would just be silly to hand up a Group 1 opportunity in our backyard. So it looks like he's come through the race really well. He did have a tough run, but nonetheless he won the race. So may not quite have been as tough as we first thought. And we don't need to do anything with him. He had his gallop last Saturday, and just keep him ticking over to this Saturday.
Last year you won it with Verminator, and you had to do a bit of sweating to get into the Melbourne Cup. Is that a concern for any of the horses? Yeah,
it's a concern, but it's out of your control, really. I think whatever happens, happens. You've got 12 months of the year to qualify. The good horses qualify early. The ones that are struggling, or the odd up-and-comer coming through the grades, sweats on getting a run, but realistically there's plenty of races to run in previously, so if they're good enough, I'm sure they'll get there.
How is the Verminator going this Saturday?
He's okay. He flew in his track work on Tuesday morning, which is good for him. I wouldn't say it was mile winning work, but it was certainly 2,400 metre work, and he really picking up nicely. So that to me suggested he should run. He would have been going to Melbourne if he didn't run on Saturday, and likewise, it's in our backyard. The track was very forgiving last time they raced at Randwick, and hopefully for his sake it's the same on Saturday. And when you're defending your crown, a Metrop winner, I'm sure it means quite a bit to everybody, and that's the reason he's there as well.
Herman's a bit of a forgotten horse all the time, I guess. He's also going pretty well.
He's going very well. He's been set for the race. He did everything he needed to do last preparation, including winning a Group 2 2,600 metre race at Randwick. Failed in the Sydney Cup. I'm sure it must have been something to do with his breathing on that day, because there's certainly been no abnormalities since then, or this preparation. So I'm really happy with him, and he's the bomb-proof horse of my horses. He settles well, set for the race, and loves the distance, loves the track, and another one with a nice lightweight.
Sounds like he's the one, as you say, best suited. Probably him and Stout Hearted.
Well, he's the best suited. Stout Hearted's probably got more class than him, and Kalini's the stayer on the rise, but I think Permit's the benchmark. Certainly the other two have got the ability to beat him, as the Verminator proved last year as well. So we've got 4 horses with legitimate chances. They all need a bit of luck. They all need to run career best races to win.
Well, you've got the benchmark in the Epsom. in obviously shootout and ringing ring do, I suppose, given at the top of the weights. You got ringing in the Craven Plate as well. Any decisions there?
I only put him in the race to just in case he drew wide in the Epsom, which he has. But we will definitely be running in the Epsom for the simple reason he's not getting any younger. It is a Group 1 race. He runs well at Randwick. If he runs again after the Epsom, which I'm sure he will, we can always go back to a Group 3 2,000 metre type race. So, yeah, he'll run in the Epsom. His draws, look, it doesn't make things any easier, but he's a foolproof horse. He runs in these races every time he goes round. He's used to pressure. We've actually taken the blinkers off him and he'll race with no headgear on, just so that we can have him a little bit more tractable. He was on the bridle in the Doncaster and last start when he was up on the pace without cover, and I think to some degree the Randwick as well. So just opted to take that gear off, and he won a Doncaster with no blinkers or anything, so reverts back to there. And obviously Nashra Will is aboard, and there's nothing to say. He hasn't come up as well as ever.
Chris, he took the blinkers off shootout after his trial, and that proved a winning formula in the George Main, and we're going to see him again on Saturday.
Yeah, well, his first up run was terrific. It's always hard to say how strong the form is until you get further down the preparation, but I think Secret Admirer is the benchmark. I think she's going very well, and she's a horse I respect endlessly. So she ran third on that occasion, and obviously is well weighted on this Saturday, but on the strength of her form, I'd say my two went very well first up, and shootout should improve the most of the two, being second up on Saturday.
They both, I guess, face tasks a little bit with their big weights. They've earned them. Do the weights concern you at all?
Well, of course they do, but they're only, shootout's 5 kilos above the limit, and Ring Do, I think, is 4.5 kilos, and some of those are mares, so you allow 2 kilos for them, and look, they deserve to be carrying that weight, and I'd love to have the top weight in Epsom every year, and more so in recent years. I'm sure when Superimpose won it, he wouldn't have been 5 kilos above the limit, and there'd be many horses like that. And yeah, it's tough, but it's more forgiving nowadays.
Segcom?
Well, barriers aren't ideal, but they're just foolproof horses. They're very tractable. They like a bit of room, so I wouldn't be worried if they were out 3 wide. Obviously it makes it that bit harder, but I'd sooner have them out of trouble and with good galloping room than have them bottled up and on the fence, especially the way the track raced a fortnight ago.
Segcom, Chris, gets pace on this race, you'd think?
Yeah, he's a good lightweight and just a forgotten horse, which is good to have when you've got 2 horses like Rangi and Shootout in the race. There's no pressure on him. Yeah, he's got a difficult draw, but he gets back anyway, and yeah, if he could be following Shootout and Rangi into the race with a lightweight, well, if he's good enough, he'll beat them. If he's not, he won't. Do you want to wait for this race?
One other horse I wanted to ask you about was Jade Marauder going into the Flight Stakes. Obviously, it was thrown open a little bit in the T-Rose with the defeat of Dear Demi. How do you see it?
Well, she was the horse, in my opinion, that was the unlucky one in that T-Rose. She was 3 wide without cover the entire trip and still boxed on gamely for third. So she's been around them in the last 2 starts. She's won at the Randwick track back as a 2-year-old, so there's a lot to like about her. Just the draw, just going to need luck again on Saturday.
Okay. Class is class, Chris, in the Craven Plate. He's definitely starting.
Yeah, he's going okay. Look, he's going to be a horse to look forward to for the autumn. Saturday will tell us whether he's on track for the Caulfield Cup or not. I'm mindful that he's still a preparation away. It's his first Australian racing prep, and I'm adamant they need 2 preps to produce their best. And he looks just sort of a month away from blossoming, and I think his recent runs would say that. They haven't been disappointing. They've been encouraging, but he's certainly got a lot more to offer. And Saturday will give us a good guide. It's a nice race for him. Another one to draw wide, but it looks like there's plenty of speed in the race, and he's got class, and if he's anywhere near his best, he'll be figuring in the finish.
Thanks, Chris.